Welcome, welcome to yet another live stream of the Trifecta Sports Podcast. I am Frank Spencer. I'm here with David and Coop. As always, we're here to talk about fantasy football, among other things. Pretty cool show planned for you today. We're going to talk about some big injury news that has floated around the NFL the last week. I know right now Monday Night Football is going on. I haven't had an update. I just know my wife came in the room super pissed off not too long ago that Justin Herbert's playing like crap, apparently. And she needs him to do really well, win her fantasy matchup this week. So prayers to my wife and her fantasy team. She needs a win. She's like 1-4. Prayers to my fantasy team. Coop demolished me this week. Not really much to say about that, but we're gonna let. We got a cool little game we're gonna play later on. I know that we have a couple guys on here right now, or females. I don't know who you are, but we're gonna talk about a little game called Guess Which One of Us Played College Football. We're going to pop up a picture here from when we all three played together when we were in the 8th grade. It'll be fun. So, without further ado, go ahead, Dave. You have something to say?
Yeah, that's my bad. Our last picture's in 8th grade.
We'll go ahead and get started with the big news in terms of the Robbie Anderson trade. As most of you probably know, Robbie Anderson had a little mishap on the sidelines this week. It didn't resemble the Antonio Brown situation, but I think it could have turned into it had something else been said. Robbie Anderson's a pretty good football player. I think there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Obviously, the Panthers have not had a good year. They're struggling. They're a team tearing themselves apart from the inside out. So, what do you guys take of this trade?
I think the biggest news in this trade is that Marquis Brown is out for a significant amount of time.
If not,
yeah, there's only 11 weeks left. They're saying minimum without surgery. He's out for 6. We haven't seen guys come back quickly this year from injuries. I don't know if it's teams being safe, if there's something in the training regimen in the NFL that is extending these injuries. Whatever it is, I think that's the biggest news. But I don't think Robbie Anderson comes in and takes his role. Hopkins is back next week, right? This was his last week out.
Supposed to be. Rondale Moore just got back.
Yeah, and I think Rondale Moore sees more of a target increase from Brown going down than Robbie Anderson would actually take that role over. So I think it's a bump up for more major concerns for Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say the other way of this is I think Robbie Anderson took a page out of Antonio Brown. I mean, we heard all week and last week CMC's being shopped. You would assume DJ Moore's probably in there too. He's probably like, boys, I don't stay here. I'm going to take a page out of Antonio Brown playbook. Don't go crazy and still be tradable. And now look, he's still not on a great team, but he's not with the Carolina Panthers anymore. But I think Coop nailed it. I don't think this trade anything. He's a deep threat, and that's it. But I don't even think he's probably not even going to play next week. So,
yeah. What do you think about DJ Moore? Anybody for Carolina you think goes up with this?
So I don't know. Their quarterback situation is who knows. That's the problem there. They
don't even know.
They have no freaking clue. Their situation is it's like a dumpster fire. But we have some things going on in this league right now that DJ Moore has some hot spots where he can land and they can be an immediate impact. So like I saw a bunch of memes on Twitter today said DJ Moore walking into the office knowing he just has to start an argument with a coach to get traded. But there's all kinds of things going on with the Carolina Panthers that we don't know behind the scenes, obviously. But they've got really good players on that team, and they're not performing up to their potential. But there are landing spots for those teams, and they could complete dumpster fire sale and get rid of those guys, stockpile draft picks, and then take pages out of other teams' books that have succeeded doing that. You look at the Giants. Like the Giants are kind of homegrown right now. Like most of their players, they don't get them from other teams. They've drafted them. So, and it's worked for them. Same thing with the Eagles. I mean, they got A.J. Brown that helped them out, but, most of theirs, Jalen Hurts been there, done that, things like that. But First question of the night comes from Kate Smith. Appreciate you tuning in, man. Remember him from last week. He heard us talk about Hollywood Brown, and he had Josh Weaver. DJ Moore sucks. Speaking of Hollywood, he had him and need some more depth at receiver. Should he trade for CD or Godwin or both?
Trade them away
for both Deontay and Brandon Cooks. I like CD.
I wouldn't trade CD. Yeah, Godwin's the conversation for me. I don't know about it's hard for me to go after a Pittsburgh receiver right now.
I'd give it a couple more weeks for sure.
I think at best with the situation you're seeing in Pittsburgh, like Deontay's going to be a flex play on a good week until they get some consistency going there. I do like Cooks, but the same thing, that offense is just so limited. Like neither one of them have the potential, even if they're playing good games, to hit what Godwin's ceiling is.
Yeah, Deontay's not a bad receiver, but he's like sporadic. Like last week, Claypool had the day, and I don't know right now with, their quarterback situation in Pittsburgh is up in the air too. I mean, like hell, Trubisky came in this week and finished off the game. I didn't watch the game, so I don't know what happened. I don't know if Pickett got hurt or they just made a switch in mid-game, but that seems like a red flag to me anyway. Najee Harris has had a bounce back a couple weeks though, so that's a plus for fantasy owners for Najee Harris. Brandon Cooks plays on a terrible team. I don't know. I wouldn't do this particular trade, I don't think.
All right, I got a scenario for you guys. I'm going to say take out CD and Deontay. Would you do Godwin for Cooks? You have a swing Bucks offense versus a bad Texans.
The way I read that, it was CD or Godwin, and then you would bring back both receivers either way. But it would still be tricky for me to send Godwin out, even if I'm getting Deontay and Cooks. If you have to have the depth, okay, but I just think Godwin has a ton of potential in that offense. We've seen it so many times.
Yeah, for sure. Weaver comes in here with a question. He says, "I think Henderson is."
Just looking at it. Hold on. Let me finish here.
Sorry, Weaver.
So, sorry. I'm just saying. Just looking at it though, Cooks just had his bye week, and Godwin still has a bye week. So if you're talking, I'm not sure how he is in his playoffs, but having that guy, you're gonna flip. That's a 2-game flip for you right there, for production at least. That could win you a week. Just having that wide receiver going out and getting you double-digit points. So I don't hate. I think it might be smart because we are now in the bye week central where everybody is going to be struggling to fill lineups. Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes are about to be out the next 2 weeks, and I'm praying to God I'm playing whoever has them. Just get that free week against a bad team because their best player's out. So, I think picking up Deontay and Brandon Cooks for an ailing Godwin, I like that trade.
Yeah, but I think CD's out of the question. You don't do that with CD,
especially with Dak coming back.
Oh yeah.
No. We texted last night. I'll come to your question in a minute. This is something that popped up in my head. He said we were talking last night on a text message group and talking about how Cooper Rush looks like crap. And I was like, I wonder if Dak paid him off to play like crap so that it looks better when he comes in and starts right away. Because, it's going to be hard to bench a quarterback that won you, 5 straight football games?
Yeah. Did you see Dak in the tunnel after the game?
No, I didn't.
He looked so happy. Like he was clapping as he walked off the field. He had a little swagger, a little smile. Like
he's like, all right, plan accomplished.
Cooper might have been paid by a couple guys to suck, but he came out immediately after Jerry said it, but there was a big competition. It's like, oh no, Dak's our guy. It's like I could see Cooper getting some money from quite a few guys being like, just suck, so Dak's the starter. Yeah,
so we don't have to field these stupid questions from the media all the time and have idiots like us talk about conspiracy theories. We're all about conspiracy theories, by the way, unless you want to know.
I don't know if you guys have been following The Masked Singer, but I'm still expecting Brady to go any week.
I don't know. I haven't. Have you been watching the show?
No. I've been checking in with my parents. He hasn't popped up yet, but
Surely, God, they would know by now. Anyway,
I don't know.
Weaver, he says, "You think Henderson is LA's running back one the rest of the season, or do I really need to keep Kyron Williams on my IR?"
I don't know. I have no idea what's going on in LA. I picked Kyron Williams up just to put him in my IR on that off chance. They seemed really high on him preseason. That was Schefter's fantasy stash this year. And last year it was Elijah Mitchell. It worked out for fantasy owners. So I went and got him when I heard the news. But he's the RB1 for right now, just for a lack of options. I really don't know what is going on in LA. The Cam Akers situation is super weird.
Yeah, let's talk about that. I don't really know the details of it. Do you guys know any details about like what's going on with Cam Akers and why he is just like, hey,
I don't think anybody does.
He just left. Like he's like, I'm out here. I mean, did he think like he wanted not to have like a share of the workload, or
he's still on the team? He's still on the roster.
Everybody in the universe knew that was going to be a shared backfield, except for him apparently.
Yeah, it's.
But he was getting the majority share.
Weird
is what.
Yeah,
I know. Like Henderson was becoming like a non-factor in anybody's fantasy league decisions, and now he's like a major factor because they got to hand it off somebody.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Henderson had a 0 carry week, right? Active, like he was on the roster, dressed for game day, had 0 carries in a game, and then Cam Akers is just gone.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. In my opinion, I'm treating Daryl Henderson as a must-start running back for the remainder of the year, as long as that is their current backfield. He was really good last year as the lead back. I think he had a decent game. Touchdown kind of saved him yesterday, but I don't think you need to really bond to Kyron Williams unless you're really high on him. But I think there's better options out there. But I think Daryl Henderson for now is at least a must start to going forward.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm going to segue into one of our, I would say, games. If you're watching and you know us personally and you know our background, you can answer, but don't give it away. Okay. Really quick, Weaver says, was the Jeff Wilson game a fluke? And he was game scripted out, or should I be nervous about starting him? I find it hard to believe they're going to script out Jeff Wilson.
I would be nervous about starting any. This is the 49ers. They've done this to us for however many years now. They're going to play a different back each week. I would be nervous. I'm nervous. I don't like it, but
what choices do you have?
Starting for me next week.
I'd say waiver wire running backs are very, very slim for everybody's league.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there were some changes in San Francisco after getting doubled up by the Falcons. That is terrible.
Hey, speaking of the Falcons, Coop, Kyle Pitts came through with a touchdown. First of the season, second of his career.
First on U.S. soil, we have turned a new page.
I knew I was going to lose.
Is he here? He's arrived.
Oh yeah.
I doubt it. It's probably the only one he's going to catch all year. But anyway.
Must start rest of the season.
Yeah, me and Coop played each other this week. And, he's sitting in our group text, should he start Higgins or should he start Ayuk? I was like, dude, you need to start Higgins, man. Start Higgins. And then Dave's like, no, start Ayuk. Ayuk 2 touchdowns. That's what beat me this week for sure. And then Kyle Pitts decides to catch a touchdown pass. I mean, what the hell's going on? I hate fantasy football.
I told you guys it was just a matter of time.
Joffrey says, I just traded Etienne and Judy for Najee. Did I win? He's also got Dameon Pierce and Dalvin Cook. You got 3 really good running backs out of that deal. I don't know if your overall – I mean, Etienne's on the rise. We talked about the trade with me and Coop a couple weeks ago. I'd like to note that Jefferson has outscored Lamar every week since then. But I think Coop has won the trade so far with the way Etienne has played.
Yeah, he's getting better and better. I tweeted out a stat today. And he is like second in yards per touch among rookie running backs in NFL history. And I'm pretty sure first was like Herschel Walker, like one of those all-time Hall of Fame great running backs.
Yeah.
And Travis Etienne was second on that list. It's just if Jacksonville is going to give him enough touches. He's been really limited. Like he's not getting the workload that you expect to see out of a back who's been that efficient. So hopefully it's just coming back from that season-long injury. They're just taking it super slow and cautious. But I like the upside of ETN. Najee's had a good week. You can lose a trade getting Najee, but if in a redraft league, I think he is a safer play right now.
Yeah. I think you're going to feel more comfortable putting Najee in, probably in your flex spot with those two other running backs. I don't know, Dalvin Cook's struggled a little bit too this year. But you're going to feel more comfortable starting Najee over ETN week to week, I think. Getting rid of Judy, I don't know what your other wide receivers look like, but, if they're standard league, standard roster sizes, I mean, chances are you've probably got a number 1 pick in there somewhere or a number 2 second-round draft pick as a wide receiver. Something along those lines, but I don't think you lost the trade. It's time will tell.
Yeah, I'm out
right away. I think it's the other team probably got better, and your team probably got better as well. So that's how you know if you want to trade or not. Whew. All right, so really quick, if you're watching and you know us personally, know our personal lives, you can participate if you like, but don't give away the answer. But we're going to play a game. We've got a picture that I've created from us 3 playing football when we were in middle school. And we're going to play a game called Guess Which Player Played College Football based off of this picture. All right, y'all ready? Leave in the comments below, and we're going to pop it up back and forth the rest of the show as more people come in and out. But here's the picture. Guess which one of us in the comments played college football. We're going to David is cracking me up when looking at that smile, dude. Just for instance, this was
Coop's hair is luscious,
and his shoulder pads are 4 times too big.
Out.
So the reason I did that, you guys, my dad, and to this day, if he wanted to, he could pick out a fro. Like he still has that head of hair at 63, and he kept telling me, it started about the time I was 12, I was 13, so I hit that age, and I'm like, I want it. I want that hair. And I kept it grown out for years, and the curl never came, man. I just didn't get there. But I held on with everything I could.
So first guess in, if you've just hopped on, we're trying to guess of the 3 of us. This is us when we were in 8th grade. This is our 8th grade football year. Which one of us played college football? Weaver, his guess was David based on pictures. That's a pretty good guess.
I also love that Frank is an eligible receiver right here.
For sure.
Starting running back, I believe.
I was. Yeah. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Just a couple more people have hopped on recently. This is a picture of the 3 of us while we were in middle school, okay? This is our 8th grade football year. This is how long we've been friends forever. We're going to be 29 this year. Our next birthday will be 29. So we're almost 30. It's been forever ago. So your job is to sit in the comments who you think of the 3 of us played college football. Yeah. Look at those calves, dude. I've always had that. Well, they start at the top of the cleat and they end at the knee pads.
Those are steers.
Those are cows. Coach Whitaker used to like, y'all, me and Tip, he used to say, y'all don't have calves, y'all have cows.
Yeah.
Weaver said David had a heck of a stiff arm. But yeah, so if you're watching this, we're going to continue on our fantasy football venture here. But again, take a guess in the comments. Which one of us played college football? Take a guess. So moving on from that, and we'll pop it up here periodically throughout the show. If you guys have any questions regarding your fantasy teams, moves you should make, moves you have made, whether or not you want some reassurance as to whether or not it was a good move or not, just leave in the comments. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe while you're here. We'd appreciate that very much. We're about 20 subscribers away from 100, and that's been our goal for a while now. Once we get to 100, I'm probably going to get like a cool hat, and I'm going to wear it online, and I'll send one to these guys too, so we can be merched out, things like that. That'd be cool. I'm going to send Weaver one too because he's our number one fan, obviously. Weaver, when we get hats, I'm getting 4. You're on there, buddy. What else in the world of fantasy football this week? Who?
All right, boys.
Dave, you got a topic?
I got a question for you boys.
Okay.
How interested are you all watching Saquon Barkley?
I feel like it's only a matter.
My number one.
He's a ticking
waiver wire.
He's a ticking time bomb. He's a ticking time bomb. He's not making it to the rest of the season.
He looks banged up. He grabbing that shoulder every other play. It looks like I don't see him lasting another 2 weeks.
No, like because they just obviously like have run him dead ass in the ground the entire time. I mean, they have other weapons. You know, their receivers are hurt. Wandell scored his first touchdown yesterday. You know, so him coming back helps him out a little bit.
I was so mad. I had him in my IR spot for like 3 weeks.
Yeah,
it was questionable. It was questionable, and then he's out. Questionable, out. And I was like, I can't hold him anymore. I dropped him, put Kyron Williams in there, and then he scores.
Yeah. I mean, I knew kind of that was coming. They don't have anybody else to throw it to.
I know.
And he's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Weaver asked, do you trust Rondale Moore with Brown going out, D-Hop coming back, Kyler sucking, etc.? Will he remain in every week play? I had Rondale Moore on my roster for the longest time, and I couldn't hold on to him anymore. I had other moves I had to make. I don't know if he's still available in our league or not. I'm sure Coop picked him up because every time somebody drops somebody, Coop goes and gets him.
I do not have Rondale Moore.
Well, I don't know, man. Weaver said Wandell scored on my bench while DJ Moore got me 3.7. There you know it. I'm going to have to stop starting DJ Moore, man. Stop. Just leave him out of the lineup one time. He'll heat up, and then you can put him back in. Dave, you're a robot, dude.
Oh. I do trust Rondale Moore as far as like a flex play. Like we said kind of at the top of the show with the Robbie Anderson trade, I think that Rondale picks up more of Hollywood's volume than Anderson does. And I think Hopkins coming back just kind of spreads the field for him. You know, Rondale Moore, he's a short yardage guy. They do a lot of stuff behind the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to pass more with Hopkins, and he's going to kind of get some of those run game touches because that backfield's really banged up. I don't think they want to lean on Eno Benjamin. We kind of saw that this week. He was a disappointment. And with James Conner being pretty much always questionable, I think Rondale could be a good flex play going forward.
Yeah, for sure. Especially if you're in a deep league and, you know, the waiver wire is bare. Like, you're not going to get anything from the waiver wire consistently that you're going to get with Rondale Moore. So,
yep.
Zero Destroyer from YouTube. Appreciate the comment, big guy. What's up, fellas? We're doing great. Dave's having some technical difficulties. What else is new? Who should you start at receiver, Cooper or Olave? And also, can y'all pick 2? Ken Walker, Mixon, Pierce, or Stevenson? Very, very, very tough question for that second one. Well, Olave's been hurt. He was out this week, so him being out of the lineup kind of helps that. I don't know how long he's going to be out for. He might come back next week. We don't know. But, hey, welcome back, Dave. As far as picking 2, Ken Walker, we've talked him up really high on last week's show. Should be plucked off of waiver wires by now, everywhere. So if he's on your waiver wire in your league and you're watching, go pick him up right now, put in a claim. Mixon, we talked about him. We talked about him being, you know, he is a very solid back, probably running back 2 in most leagues, maybe a flex play, depending on who you have. You probably got a lot of draft capital in him, top 4 or 5 rounds, probably. Pierce is a stud. Stevenson just got put ahead of everybody else in the workload in New England. That's a tough question. If you can find a way to start 3 of them, I'd start 3 of them. One of them's got to be in the flex. One of them's RB1, RB2.
Yeah, I think Mixon's the top dog here. That volume, it's insane. The touches he's getting, if Cincinnati just gets a little bit better. I mean, just the
They are
tiniest
getting better.
bit.
They're getting better.
Then he's, and every week RB1, set it and forget it. Ken Walker would be number 2 for me. Him and Pierce are going to see similar usage, but Walker's just on a better offense. Seattle's looked pretty good.
He's already got Derrick Henry, so he can only start 2 of them.
Those would be my 2 picks, unless there's just a bad matchup. One of these guys has Tampa Bay, I'm sitting them. But outside of that, those would be my top 2. And then Pierce, Stevenson would be 4 out of 4 for me, just because none of these other 3 have a Damian Harris behind them. Like, that's something that's always going to just make you a little bit nervous.
Stevenson has all the workload right now until Damian Harris comes back from an injury, but we don't know how long that's going to be. At least I don't personally.
See, that's where I would say Mixon's my number 1, but Stevenson would be my number 2 as of this moment, because he doesn't have Damian Harris, or last week he didn't have Damian Harris. I mean, the Patriots are a running back team. They're going to get a lot of touches regardless if they're down 21 or 3. Ken Walker, I think, is a solid choice as a 3. And, I'm nuts to say that RB10 is going to be my 4th pick here, but I would say, like Coop said, the Seahawks are a better offense than the Texans, so I have a little more faith in Walker than Pierce right now.
Yeah. But all 4, you got all 4 of them on your team, so you look at the matchups, you can decide for yourself. Look at what other defenses have given up to similar style offenses and things like that. Then week to week, you can streamline them. But you have really good choices there,
Yeah, you got 5 top 20 backs.
Yeah, that's not bad. I would honestly
I think you should make a trade.
Yeah, try to get somebody where you don't have to pick from Cooper and Olave as your receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
on that one, Olave, if he can show me he's healthy for a week and Jameis gets back, he's my pick over Cooper. Until I see that, I'm playing Amare.
Yeah, Leanne talked about Bailey Zappi, who has blown his role out of the water. I fear Mac Jones may not be the starter coming back. I mean, why would you? The dude is definitely put on a show. He broke all the records that Joe Burrow set in college, although he played for Western. The dude can throw and sling the football around, and he's more athletic than Mac Jones. So there's more options there to avoid tackles for loss, sacks, things like that. Zappi's probably a pretty good start if you are hurting for quarterbacks. Weaver says Green Bay, can they get together, or does Rodgers have to have an alpha receiver? I think Rodgers' time is done. He's done. I don't know if he wants to go to another team or he's done. I don't think he has it anymore.
I don't think it's Rodgers. I mean, obviously there's a problem with the Packers. I don't think it's Aaron Rodgers. An alpha receiver would be great. They're not going to get one. They've never invested in receivers. They had one. They let him walk because he was too much money. They don't draft him high. They just don't care. It's what it seems like. I think this is more of a Cincinnati problem. Their play calling is not great. I mean, you got 2 of the best running backs, not best in the NFL, but, 2 above average running backs. And you got 3rd and short, they're running verticals with 3rd string receivers. Like, it doesn't make sense. Just, I don't know that they'll figure it out. They'll be lucky to make the playoffs the way they're going. Not a Super Bowl contender, and I don't have a lot of faith in the offense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say he needs an alpha receiver just based off his playing style. I mean, he's the guy that wants to drop defense off sides, and he wants to throw the 50-yard bomb down the field and get the PI. And I think watching Red Zone yesterday, he out-Hobbs like 4 times on that exact play. And, that was Devontae Adams last year. So, I mean, I think everybody needs a superstar alpha wide receiver to be, a guy. I mean, everybody you think about, the legends have had him. So I agree, though. I think he's done. I think he might retire in October, November.
Yeah. And right now you think about like really good teams in the NFL, like they always have like that one guy, right? So like they need a guy and they don't have a guy.
Yeah.
Blue Crew from YouTube, appreciate you tuning in, big guy. Subscribe if you haven't already. We appreciate that. Non-PPR, who's a better pickup, Thornton, Allen Robinson, or Robbie Anderson? Thoughts, fellas?
Probably Robinson for me, because if that offense, had a better week this week, if they can get somewhere close to the potential we thought they would have, Robinson has the most touchdown upside, and that's big in non-PPR, that ability to score touchdowns. He's a big body receiver. He's always been a red zone threat. So if LA can keep getting better, then I think Robinson has the best end of season value.
For sure. I like that pick as well. I'm going to go with that one. I'm assuming the Thornton is from New England.
New England.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Not yet. I mean, it might be throw a shot in the dark if you don't need a pickup. You're just looking for one that can hit. And we just got done talking about Bailey Zappi, about how he can sling it all over the place. We just don't know a pattern of, targets yet. But, if Thornton wants to step in and be Bailey Zappi's number one wide receiver, maybe give it another week and see what happens and then throw a dart at him.
Yeah, I think it all depends on the depth of your bench. If you got a big lineup, I would pick up Thornton, but I'd give it a couple weeks. I wouldn't drop anybody for him at this stage just because he caught a touchdown.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys, we've got a few more people that hopped on here. Earlier, I'm going to flash a picture up here from our 8th grade year when we played football together, all three of us. So we're playing a little game throughout the stream. So if you've seen it before, just ignore it. But I want you to comment in the chat and let us, know your thoughts. If you know it, you know it. If you know us personally, you know it as well. But try not to give it away. But of the three of us, this is our 8th grade football picture. We want you to comment on the chat and see, and then let us know who you thought actually went on to play college football based on these pictures. And we're going to reveal the answer at the end of the chat. Which of the three of us actually went on to play college football based off of these pictures from our 8th grade season? Nice little game we can play. Go ahead and send us your answers. Hopefully you guys hang on to the end to get an answer for it. So comment in the chat who you think played college football out of the three of us. Little known fact, I'm on the technicality. Never mind. I'm not going to say that's going to give away the answer. All right, guys. How are your individual fantasy teams doing this week?
15-3 across 3 leagues. 15-3, boys.
Yeah, this week Coop is playing me and he's whipping my ass. Let's just put it that way. My team didn't perform. And I've got my number 1 overall pick on the bench. I have 2 number 1 overall picks on my team, and I still can't get them all healthy at the same time.
There's 2 things I consistently did. Players are pretty different across the 3 leagues. In all 3, I got a top 5 quarterback. I went Allen in our home league, ended up trading for Jackson. The other 2, I grabbed Jalen Hurts. And then all of them are wide receiver heavy. I waited on running backs. I'm hitting on the Damian Pierce, the Ken Walker, the Ramadre Stevenson. All those guys that went in the later rounds are the running backs I picked after receivers. So I had that floor with the pass catchers, and those running backs have worked out. So it's just, that strategy seemed to hit this year. Who knows what will happen next year?
Yeah. Are you in any keeper league, Coop, other than no keepers, all redrafts?
Dave's got some dynasty leagues going on. He's probably got more insight on that.
Dave, let's talk about dynasty leagues for a minute. We don't really hit on that much. So what is your strategy going into like a weird ass football season like we're having right now in terms of a dynasty league? What's your week to week plans? Your moves that you go try to make. I've never played in the dynasty league, so I don't know much about it. Can you hear me, Dave? David!
The video's good. You should be there.
Nothing.
Oh,
Oh man.
I'm like that.
Oh, there we go. Did you hear my question?
No.
Jesus.
What was your question?
So we were talking about dynasty leagues, right? I don't play in a dynasty league, never have. We were talking about like what are your week to week strategies in order to like participate in a dynasty league? What are your thoughts going into each week? What kind of moves do you try to make mid-season? You personally, like, what are some things that you do?
Yeah, so the goal here in Dynasty, and I think everybody kind of gets this, is you got to have a good initial draft. And you got to have good young guys, but you also have to have those key vets just to get that good basis point. I am in 2 Dynasty leagues right now. The one, I'm about to be 6-0. I've got Mahomes, Hurts, Jefferson. I've got a bunch of good young guys, but then I also, struck gold with Mark Andrews. He was a later round pick at tight end that has really paid off for me in a dynasty. So league, what I'm just looking for is I've got the guys, don't really need the draft picks right now. So I'm looking to flip draft picks for my fillers pieces. A lot of those guys in my leagues, their teams have underperformed. They're tired of the guys. They're just looking to rebuild, because that's kind of what you're going to see in dynasties. Is you're going to see the top teams and you're going to see the bottom teams. It's a lot like the NFL. So in that league, I'm looking to buy. I'm looking to sell my draft picks and buy up as many good players as I can to fill my roster out. In my other league, I'm like 2-4, and it's a 2 QB league, super flex, and I got stuck with Dak, and I bet on Tua, because of Jameis Winston, Teddy Bridgewater, Garoppolo, Brissett. Like it's
You've
just
named
bad.
3 of
So
the
in that
quarterbacks
league,
I've used
I
this
have
year.
Exactly.
Winston, Garoppolo,
Exactly.
and
So
Brissett.
in that one is, there's a lot of parity in that league as well, even though that is the first year of our dynasty where the top guys are just beating everybody's brains out, and then the bottom is just filled with everybody else. So in that league, I'm just spending a lot of fab, hitting the waiver wire hard. I mean, clearly it's a 2 QB league, and I've already picked up like 4 guys. But there's also a lot of those guys like Ken Walker, actually not Ken Walker. I'm blanking on. So there's RB1s out there on the waiver wire that a lot of fab was spent on. Now, if I lose a couple more weeks, I'm just going to go into tank mode, because I have some older receivers in that group with OBJ, Devontae Adams, Adam Thielen, that I need to get out of there. So that's my kind of thought process on my 2 dynasties right now.
Yeah, Weaver is apparently in a dynasty league as well, and he said that he's got Breece Hall and Justin Jefferson for the next few years.
That's probably
Pretty
2
nice.
top 5 picks in Dynasty if you're doing a startup next year.
Yeah, for sure. If you haven't participated yet, which Weaver is the only one. Weaver's the only one that's participated in our game. Y'all ain't helping us out none. We got a game going. If you're on the stream, comment. Which one of us do you think played college football based off of these pictures? This is our 8th grade year in football. This just goes to show you that we've been friends forever. We're almost 30, Coop. Y'all believe that? Comment in the chat. Which one do you think played college football? We'll give the answer out at the end of the.
You know what Miss James is going to tell me tomorrow? How dare you crop out all the moms in that picture?
I couldn't get them to fit. Couldn't get them, and they were all.
That's even more disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jane. We love you. Jane bought my dinner one time. Leanne's not allowed to answer. She knows the answer. 30 sucks. Is that who's Weaver? I'm guessing you're 30 already. I'll be 29 in November 5th.
Stranger danger. You don't release that information over the internet.
I don't. What, are they gonna come kidnap me? You better pack a lunch. That's all I gotta say. Good times.
Hey, so talking about Dynasty,
all your passwords.
Yeah.
November 5th. I'll tell my passwords. My social security number is. I'm just kidding.
Talking dynasty, we talked to young running backs. Where do you guys have these three rookie running backs? So Brees Hall, Ken Walker, Dameon Pierce. If you're doing a redraft today or you're making out your cheat sheet beforehand, where are you ranking these guys? Are they RB1s? Are they RB2s? Like what number do they fall in that running back hierarchy?
So, in my opinion, Brees Hall stays the same. I think in next year's redraft, he's going to be a top 10 pick. I'm not sure if he'll break the upper echelon of RB1s, but I still think he'll probably be at Najee Harris range. And I think in Dynasty, he will be in the top 5 picks. I'm pretty sure that Ken Walker was high just because everybody knew Rashad Penny has the injury tag on him, and it was going to be his backfield sooner rather than later. So I would kind of keep those guys 1, 2 with Dameon Pierce coming in 3, just because he was never the starter in Florida. He was never the guy, and he's finally the guy with the Texans. But then again, it's the Texans, so I'd say I'd ride with those 3 in that order.
Pretty smart.
Let's play a little name game. Would you rather have any of those 3 this year, rest of the season, than DeAndre Swift?
Oh, 100%. All 3 of them.
Dalvin Cook.
Yeah.
Frank?
I don't know about Dalvin Cook.
What about Mixon?
No.
Mixon over all 3?
Maybe Brees Hall.
Aaron Jones?
No.
I think I'd take all 3 of them over Aaron Jones at this moment.
The last one I had was Josh Jacobs.
Yes, because we don't know what Jacobs is going to do.
Oh, that's a tough one.
I think Brees Hall is going to be.
I put Jacobs
with Weaver's. Okay. Yeah, Brees Hall probably is one of the top. He's at the top for me. Getting to another question from you two. Val's the GOAT. Got a trade question. He's got Brady, Montgomery, Thielen, and either Juju or Duvernay, and he's going to trade for Mahomes, JT, and DJ Moore. There's a lot of DJ Moore hate on this podcast. I don't know if you've followed along for very long, but very good player. Just hasn't done anything, and I think it's a lot to do with the quarterback he's playing with and the team he's on. But Brady for Mahomes is easy for me. JT, I mean, he's not.
Don't do this trade.
Dave don't get Mahomes, JT, and Moore.
Dave, who's he getting rid of?
You're really giving up too much.
What are you giving up? Brady?
Brady?
No. David Montgomery is a starting running back when he's healthy.
Yeah, I know. I've got him.
And
I would argue that Jonathan Taylor is also a starting running back when healthy.
Yeah, but only one of them's healthy right now.
Yeah, but Montgomery's already missed time this year. For me, this is a no-brainer.
He's at least been more.
Give me Mahomes and the 101 this season. DJ Moore, whatever. They can throw him in if they want to. And I would give up every one of the guys you listed. I'd do a 5 for 2.
We don't know what he has on the rest of his roster. I'm going to say this again. And any trade you make, anytime you make a decision based off of getting rid of players, bringing players in, is it going to help your overall point total for that average week? If the answer is yes, do it. He said he's got, look here, fellas. He's already got CMC, DeAndre Swift, and Dameon Pierce.
Can you play 4 running backs?
Now, if you can't play 4 running backs, that's different.
Yeah.
That does change the equation.
You got 2 flexes or something.
But Mahomes falls into that category, especially this season, of getting a positional advantage at quarterback. That gap has widened between those top 5 and the next 15, really. We thought it was going to be Rodgers, Brady, Stafford, and they've all underperformed.
He said there's 3 flexes in his league. Do it.
Yeah. Yep.
100%.
Give me Taylor.
Do it. And he's got Amon-Ra, D-Hop, Allen Lazard. Oh, he says he's got 2. 2 flexes. Okay, you can still do it.
Mm-hmm.
Hunter V says, hey, guys, remember me? Yeah, I remember you. A couple weeks. I don't know if it was last week or week before last, but we remember you comment on here, guys. If you're new to the channel and you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, do that now. Also, we're going to throw in another round of our game. Here's a picture of all 3 of us when we were in the 8th grade. Your job as a group, however many of you are watching, comment in the chat box, which of us do you think actually went on to play college football? Do that now while you're watching it. Which of us played college football? All right. Chat. Hunter says he's 5-1. Hunter, did we help you get to 5-1? If we did, that would be awesome. Hopefully, if we asked you or gave you any advice, you took it. And if you took it, it worked for you. I know I'm not 5-1. Coop is getting ready to be 5-1, I believe.
But I would endorse Frank. He helped me get to 5-1.
Yeah.
That's tough.
So Hunter, give us a comment back. And which one of us played college football? I want to know. Just a little game. He would have Mahomes, JT, CMC, Amon-Ra, D-Hop, Lazard, Kelsey. And yes, Kelsey, you're winning. He's 5-1 already. Yeah, make that trade, dude.
Dave's still against it.
Dave, I don't know what you're thinking.
No, I'm not. No, I'm for it now. Because I want my team to look like that. Why can't I have all those guys? I am pure jealousy right now. This guy's just flaunting that he can trade Brady and all those other dudes for Mahomes and JT. Yeah.
Now, I want to know, are these like trade offers he's received or that he's sending out? That makes a difference too.
Yeah, because those...
If you can make that trade, yeah, make it. But Hunter's guess is that Coop was the college football player. Anybody else on here would like to take a guess? We're going to reveal the answer here toward the end of the show. So stick around for that. Just a little known fact, all 3 of us played collegiate athletics at some point, at some level. Which one of us played football? Val's ago said I talked with a guy 5 minutes ago, and we agreed on the one I told you guys. Send it now.
That is a frustrated Jonathan Taylor owner. And if you have that in your league, capitalize. Even if he doesn't provide 101 value rest of season, even if he's not a first rounder rest of season, whoever has him is just tired of it. And if you can get him basically for David Montgomery and that part of the, that's kind of what that part of the trade equation is. Yeah. That is insane value.
And Duvernay and Juju, Duvernay is okay. I've got him. I started him last week. I had to. Didn't have a choice. But he's not going to be – I don't want him to be there. Like, I have to have him there. So, Juju's the same way. He's not somebody you're going out and seeking to start in your lineup. It's a bye week play. It's an injury play. That's why Duvernay – I had Bateman. I want Bateman in there. I don't want Duvernay in there. But, who am I supposed to – I don't have anybody else. Like, that's my choice. But you can, offload that to somebody else and get that in return. Even if you get DJ Moore back too, who knows what DJ Moore is going to do the rest of the year? He could get traded tomorrow.
Yep.
To a team that's going to use him appropriately. So what should he do with Hollywood Brown in his other league? It hurts me badly that he got injured, and I'm 3-3. He's got Sutton, Marquise, Gabe, and Bateman. If you have an IR spot, you stash him there. We'll get to the Thielen question in a minute, Vals.
Yeah, if anybody...
It doesn't look like he's coming back.
If you can find anybody to buy him, just get bench depth. If not, I think he's droppable at this point. Hopkins coming back. They just traded for another receiver. I don't think they expect much out of him.
When they're throwing the word season-ending injury around in any capacity, it's not good. for the rest of the year. If you're in a keeper league, you might want to think twice about dropping him. But
Yeah.
Most people in here that we've found not really most of us are in like standard or PPR leagues, no redrafts or all redrafts. We don't hardly have any dynasty talk. So most of our advice is for redraft leagues, but yeah, I think it's about time you got to move on from him. See if there's anybody else.
I got two names that we've already talked about. Wan'Dale Robinson in ESPN leagues, he's only owned in 6%. And as of right now, he is the Giants' number one receiver. He is going to be your waiver wire priority number one. The second one, which is a guy that I'm pretty high on, is Alex Pierce for the Indianapolis Colts. He got his late touchdown to save his fantasy week this week. I actually started him in a league, but he's only owned at 25%, and he is locked in at wide receiver 2 for the Colts. And Matt Ryan just threw the ball 58 times. So those are two guys that I think are prime candidates to go target to replace Marquis Brown. And dropping Marquis Brown that's not going to play the rest of the year is such an easy decision to make right now.
Yeah, for sure. We're pretty familiar with Wan'Dale Robinson because we're all Kentucky football fans for the most part. I don't know if Coop is a North Carolina fan. We don't give a crap about that, but Dave's wearing his UK hoodie, so all the way out there in Illinois. So we're all Kentucky football fans. He played for us last year, transferred from Nebraska. Played high school football in the state of Kentucky. He's a talent. Let's just put it that way. He's going to find himself with the football in his hands more often than not. And if he's healthy, he's a viable fantasy football option as a rookie wide receiver. And you very well could be talking about Wan'Dale Robinson with the likes of the Garrett Wilsons and the Olaves, somewhere in that range. So it hasn't happened yet because he's been injured, obviously.
He's got that. If you guys don't know him, just to talk about kind of play style, he's got that Rondale Moore, Tyreek Hill, thick, short-bodied kind of gadget receiver. I don't think he has Tyreek speed. He's not going to be that. But I could totally see him stepping into a Rondale Moore 8-9 target a game. They're going to use him different ways, kind of role.
Might even hand the ball off to him in jet sweeps.
100%.
Like again, on Val's trade, he says, isn't Thielen a beast? Ideally, most seasons, Adam Thielen is a dude. You want him on your team. But Justin Jefferson took away a lot of that attention. Adam Thielen was Justin Jefferson before Justin Jefferson got there. And he just put it to another level. Adam Thielen can get you really good games. I haven't seen his weekly output, but I would guess it's pretty sporadic. A couple touchdowns here and there. I don't know for a fact. We'll look it up. I don't want to be wrong.
That's what he kind of is now. He'll have good weeks, but he's a touchdown-dependent guy. He's kind of like a Mike Williams light. He's going to have a 60-yard game with the touchdown, and he's going to get you another week, 2 catches for 30 yards.
Yeah. So he's got with, anywhere from 4 to 9 targets, 2 touchdowns on the year, 36 yards, 52 yards, 61 yards, 72 yards, 27 yards, 36 yards. He's not getting a lot of, bulk. He's a slot guy. He's going to be solid. He's going to catch the ball when it's thrown to him. He's very dependable. Could be a good third down option for Kirk Cousins, but he's not going to be a guy that you're going to depend on to help you win fantasy league games week to week.
Yep.
So, Weaver asks, he said, do y'all ever try to get running back heavy come wintertime due to running backs running a little more and QBs throwing a little less? Or is that thinking too much? I think it's thinking too much. I think it's a quarterback league no matter what. You look in these, thinking of even like last year, the Chiefs and the Bills championship or game to go to the AFC Championship. That was one of the greatest games of football ever played, right? And those guys were thrown all over the place in Arrowhead Stadium or Buffalo. I don't even remember where it was played, but both those places get cold as hell. So I don't think that's a big issue. A lot of teams play in domes too. So if they're going down to, the Superdome or Houston, things like that. But
I don't think you can ever think too much in fantasy football. Like you just said, though,
weather always has an impact.
Go after those Green Bay, go after those frustrated Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon owners. Go after, I'm saying Saquon Barkley is going to get hurt in the next 2 weeks. So I think Matt Breida is going to be a pickup, and that'll be a cold weather back. I 100% think this is a great thought about there are frustrating offenses out there that guys are probably tired of these guys. It's about to get colder. They don't have great quarterbacks. They don't have great wide receivers, and they're going to depend on those running backs just a little bit more. I think it's a great thought.
It's not far-fetched.
There's 2 split stats that are really interesting on this topic.
Fair point.
One is Matt Ryan. There's almost like 100 yards per game difference in him playing indoors and outdoors this season. And 7 of his next 9 games are inside. So just adding to what Dave said on Alec Pierce, like you got to find those little nuggets in the statistics to give you an advantage. And that's one of them. I think Indianapolis, especially in their passing game, has brighter days ahead with that much time indoors and the history that Matt Ryan has had throwing the ball inside. Second one's a little more unique. If you guys follow the footballers, we've talked about them on here before. I know Josh listens, but there is a direct correlation between snow in Vermont and Derrick Henry going off. It sounds crazy, but when it snows in Vermont, he's got the nickname the Yeti. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
No, but that's awesome.
It is related to this alone. It's happened for seasons. And the last 2 weeks, it has snowed in Vermont on the weekend, and Derrick Henry has rushed 50 times for 216 yards and 3 touchdowns. So, just saying, if you have any hesitation on Henry during the week, check the forecast in Vermont. If it's snowing, he may be the RB1 for the week.
Yeah, I think was it Val's who let's see. I can't remember who commented. Somebody said they're asking for trade advice, and they had Derrick Henry. And was it the guy? I can't remember which one it was. We had a couple on here. Oh, Zero Destroyer. Yeah, that's what. He's gonna pick 2: Ken Walker, Mixon, Pierce, or Stevenson, and then he already had Derrick Henry, so he can start 2.
Yep.
So good time to have Derrick Henry go off for you. Miles from YouTube, appreciate it, dude. Appreciate the comment. If you have not subscribed to the channel and you are watching us right now and you like what you hear, like what you see, I know we're not the most beautiful people in the world, but we're kind of funny sometimes. Go ahead and subscribe. Help us out. We're on our way to 100. We are about 20 away. I don't know what the subscriber count looks like right now. I usually check it in the morning after a stream. But he said he just traded Jeff Wilson for Patterson. Was this too early? Who won? We talked about Wilson earlier and said that he's kind of sporadic in his production. It is not production, but usage. Let's put it that way. Patterson is injured. Not sure when he is on his way back yet.
I'll look into it.
That's a good question. We'll come back. Up front, I don't think that's a trade that's going to make you worse. Unless you relied on Jeff Wilson as a starter. You're going to have to find another starter for Patterson because he is hurt currently.
Depends on your record right now. If you're 5-1, this is a good trade because Wilson's going to get phased out. When Mitchell comes back off IR, you're going to have Patterson for the fantasy playoffs. And you probably don't need that help right now. Yeah. You're looking at the flip side, you're 2-4. It's hard to give up what Wilson is capable of next week versus what you're going to have to losing out on those points until Patterson gets back. But I like the trade overall, but I think your position in your league really determines the win-loss side, what your personal record is.
Yep, for sure. Corey Wilbanks from YouTube says, should I be worried about my RB's ROS? He's got Barkley, Zeke, Dylan, Gordon, Wilson, and Mitchell on IR. I also have Mitchell on IR as well. I need him. What do you guys think?
Probably. I mean, To be blunt, to be honest, we talked about the concerns with Barkley. Is he going to be healthy? Tony Pollard's better than Zeke. I just don't know why Dallas won't accept that. Gordon's looking up, and Wilson and Mitchell are kind of sum zero. I don't think you're going to get anything out of both. It's going to be one or the other.
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully, we're not up here saying, hey, Barkley is going to get hurt. But time has proven that with that much usage in his history of being hurt, the Giants are going to run him into the ground if they can and to win games.
He's also going to be a free agent next year, guys. This free agent class at the running back position could be pretty good.
There's free agents everywhere.
Do you think anybody's spending big on Saquon?
The Giants probably. He's the sole reason one of them.
The Washington Commanders will.
And then split him out wide.
Is that a hopeful Washington Commanders, Dave?
No. I mean, I wouldn't be mad, but we'd probably pay him too much and he'd get hurt the first game.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to say that.
Or they'll just run him in the slot and put Curtis Samuel in the backfield.
Yeah. That'll happen. All right, guys. Really quick, one last time before we reveal the answer. We're going to put this graphic back up on the screen. Which one of us three, this is us when we were in middle school, 8th grade, which of us played college football? Give us your answer in the chat. We're going to wrap up the show here in the next few minutes if you guys don't have any more questions. But which one of us played college football? We'd like to hear your thoughts. Poor Dave. Dave got hurt. David, how'd you break your arm back then? I don't even remember. Was it in practice or something?
It was. We were playing Estill County. I was lead fullback for Derek Tolby. I was blocking.
Good times. Corey says, I'm going to say 50 played in college. That's you, Coop. Just so you know.
I do recall.
Good guess. Good guess. I don't know how they get that out of this picture. I really don't. Look at you, Coop.
It's the width. Look how broad I am.
Look at that.
It's all shoulder pads.
Look at those.
It's all shoulder pads.
No. I was hitting the weights hard in 8th grade.
You can see that gut hanging out.
He's got a little pudge. I got a pudge too. Good old Dave. Who are you looking at, Dave? Vicky Miller ain't over there. What a good time.
I know. Someone got my eye, though.
All right, so we're going to wrap up the show. We had a few guesses. Every guest said that Coop was the football player in college. You guys would be correct. Coop played football at Kentucky Christian University as a tight end, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Coop started. That's the first year Coop played football, by the way. It was in 8th grade. So played football in 8th grade, ended up playing in college. That was actually the last year David played football.
Yep.
Him got
only played tight end one season. Had to do it with the cast.
Yeah, Coop had a cast the entire time while we were in high school, pretty much. David actually went on to play college baseball at like 7 different schools.
Hey, it was 3.
It seems like 7. I played collegiate rugby at the University of Kentucky. Not a big deal. Josh,
that is a big deal. You were the only. I mean, that's SEC competition. I don't care if it's club.
Yeah, it was club rugby, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. The bad thing was, it wasn't a bad thing, but life got in the way, and then I started coaching sports while I was in college and actually playing rugby at the same time, which is kind of hard, obviously. But I actually stopped playing after the fall season of my senior year. So the spring season is when we actually got to play like SEC schools. Like that's what happens in the spring. The fall season was always like local schools, Indiana, places in Ohio, Tennessee. We played Vanderbilt a couple times, but when I stopped playing, I actually was starting. on like the main squad. So then I started coaching baseball in the spring, so I had to kind of give it up there too. On our alumni game, we did pretty good. We had about 30 players come back and play. I had a good time. I actually didn't get to play. I was actually under the weather. We'll put it that way. I was there. I did not feel good. Funny story. I was talking to our coaches beforehand. We had a little inter-squad game, and like mid-sentence, I just threw up everywhere. Like it just happened. I felt like crap. I shouldn't have been there probably, but I was. But we had a good time. Definitely we're going to do it every year. David, I'll give you the date ahead of time so you can come play.
Need
Last
that 6
question
months
before
advance notice, Frank.
Well, it's probably the second weekend in October. Put it that way. All right, Hunter, this will be your last question of the night. Start 3, sit 2. Stevenson, Barkley, Brees Hall, Najee, Dameon Pierce.
I need schedules for that
That's
question.
easy.
That's how we play fantasy football. Up front, I'm going to say Barkley and Brees Hall start. The other 3. Who are the Patriots playing?
Is Damian Harris healthy?
That's a question. I don't think so, but it's a possibility. Najee.
Najee's playing Miami.
This is what I'm thinking. You got to start Saquon. He's RB1.
Yeah, have to.
Brees Hall is a must start right now. And in my opinion, if you drafted Najee, that means he was a first-round pick for you. You have that draft capital invested into him. He's still a bell cow. I think he's a start guy still. Just in my opinion, you get into the other stuff with Pierce and matchups or Stevenson's and matchups and whether Harris is that or not. But I think you take those 3 guys and those are guys you start and you forget about right at this point.
If I were you,
I don't think you're wrong, Dave.
I would be hitting the trade market hard because you obviously can't play all of these guys at once, and all of these guys would be starters in someone's lineup. May not be in your lineup, but somebody in your league needs a starting running back. You could probably return something really good for any of these guys.
Oh, Stevenson's playing home against Chicago, and Pierce is at Las Vegas. So those are 2 good matchups for the guys you're not playing.
Hey, but that just says go trade them.
Yeah.
Go get more than you should for them.
That's something we don't talk about enough. The trade value of a player in a good matchup, when that projected point total in your platform is higher than it has been all year, makes a huge difference.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm looking to trade. I'd probably hang on to Barkley and Brees Hall. If I were looking to trade somebody right now, I would trade Stevenson just because, he's hot right now. You could, help somebody win a couple of games until Harris gets back and fully healthy. Stevenson wasn't putting up like bad numbers, even with Harris. They were kind of split, honestly. They had about the same amount of points each game, but you could get something out of Stevenson right now, especially because he's a full-blown starter. He's the guy. Weaver cracks me up, dude. Weaver, you need to just trade DJ Moore. I'm just telling you right now. Just trade him. So you don't have to get mad at him anymore. And once you trade him, he'll go off. It's fine. Just accept it at this point. But yeah, Hunter, I would go and trade Stevenson. You could probably get a good piece back for Dameon Pierce as well. You could probably get a solid wide receiver. You might be able to get I don't know what your tight end situation looks like, but you can piece something together and get a decent tight end that's consistent, which there's like 2.5 in the whole league. But yeah, I'm looking to trade one, if not more, of these guys to build up everything else around me and try to find some bona fide starters in other positions. If you're low on a quarterback, you could probably get a decent looking quarterback. Pair Stevenson, Dameon Pierce together to get somebody in the top 10. I'd say that's a fair trade. All righty, fellas. He's keeping him. He said, I ain't trading him. He's the only wide receiver there now. You got to throw it to somebody, right? Might as well be DJ Moore. That's a good point. He's going to start it for the next 3 weeks. He's going to have 3.5 points average. And he'll be back on here in a couple of weeks talking crap about him.
Phillip Walker had -1 air yards in their last game. They're not letting him throw the ball downfield. I think DJ Moore had, 7 yards on 7 targets?
Mm-hmm.
See, dude, I appreciate it, man. If you're on here and you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, please do that now. We appreciate all the love. We're on our way to 100. We're the Trifecta Sports Podcast. We're on here every Monday night. Right smack dab in the middle of Monday Night Football. That's probably not smart on our part. But we're love. Darnold is the savior. He's waiting on Sam Darnold.
Hey.
We love talking about fantasy
That's that
football.
new intro, right, Frank?
Oh, yeah. Did I use it? I didn't use it. I spent like a whole 30 seconds editing that video earlier and uploaded and everything.
Nobody
but anyway,
now.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We love talking about fantasy football, among other things. We like to goof off, have fun. Hopefully you like it too. Show us some love on YouTube. Share us with your friends. Holler at your boy. Might check this snap. Broncos are playing, so this is better. I agree. Why do they keep giving them freaking primetime games? I know the schedule's made ahead of time, but damn. Anyway, y'all got any last parting words before we head out? All you guys watching, make sure you hit the subscribe button on YouTube. We'd love it. It's down there. Holla at your boy.
Start your studs.